The A's faced a bright young prospect, the 6'7" right-hander Daniel Cabrera today. But as we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, his recent outings have indicated that now having pitched more innings than he has in any professional season and had never been above A ball until this year, he's beginning to feel the pace and wearing down. And in the end, that seemed to be pretty evident. He left after 2 2/3 innings, having thrown 74 pitches. However, he got the A's out in order in the first inning, as Zito had in the top half of the inning against the Orioles. And when the A's came up in the bottom of the second, it was still a 0-0 ball game. And immediately, Cabrera began having control problems. He walked Hatterberg and he walked Dye to begin the inning. And then Rubio Durazo, who had tortured the Orioles so far in the season series, had more to apply. No score yet. Durazo waits. And here's the 2-1. He swings, and there's a long drive. Deep right center field, and well into the bleachers for a home run. And Rubio Durazo puts the A's in front 3-0 in the bottom of the second here at the Coliseum. Durazo, 20 home runs, 73 runs batted in. Well, I'm sure everybody here among the crowd of 22,000 plus is kind of rubbing their hands, at least figuratively, in glee, figuring the way Zito's been pitching in recent outings, it was going to be a breeze for the Athletics. But the Orioles had some fight left him in the third inning, and Zito had a horrible inning, had to throw 48 pitches before it was over, and when he was over, the A's were behind. Gibbons opened with a double down in the right field corner, and after Zito got an out, he walked Roberts and he walked Newhan, and that loaded the bases. And that's not a good idea these days with the likes of Melvin Mora in the lineup, second in hitting in the American League.
And here, once again, the 2-2, and Mora drive down the left field line. Burns racing in the corner, can't get it. He backhands the ball in fair territory. Gibbons has scored. Roberts right behind him to score. Newhan goes to third on a double by Melvin Mora. And that drives in 2 and gets Baltimore on the board as the A's lead is 3-2.
And with Miguel Tejada, who came in against the A's at 3 for 18 this year today, as he came to bat in the third inning, Morris stole third base, and that effectively provided a run on Tejada's at bat.
And the 1-2 pitch by Zito, curveball bounced to third, taken fair by Chavez. The run scores from third. The throw to first is in time. Holding at second is Mora. Tejada is out 5-3. He gets an RBI, and the Orioles tie the game.
Actually, I misspoke because Newhan scored from third. Mora was at second. And then with Lopez batting, Mora stole third base before Lopez walked, and the runners were at first and third. But on the pitch that walked Lopez, actually, the Orioles were able to take the lead.
And Zito now with the 3-2 on the way. And Javi Lopez takes in the dirt, gets away from Melhuse. Down the line from third is Mora, and he scores standing up. And the Orioles have taken a 4-3 lead. And that's why the steal of third, even with 2 outs, can pay dividends.
Absolutely. P.J. Surhoff hit the ball hard, but he lined out to center to Kotze on the 48th pitch of the inning by Zito, which gave him 78 for the first 3 innings. But Cabrera wasn't up to the task today. Immediately in the bottom of the third inning, McLemore singled. Chavez followed with a double into the left field corner, and Hatterberg, one of the best at producing runs, no matter what the circumstance, was the hitter.
Cabrera's delivery to Hat is swung on and hit to first. It eats up Leon. He recovers and now races to the bag, and Leon sliding to first base to get the out. And scoring from third is McLemore, and Chavez goes to third, and the A's have tied it up at 4-4. That one almost got away from Jose Leon, the first baseman.
And then with runners at first and third after Dye walked, Durazo was the batter, but on his ground ball, Chavez was run down between third and home, and that allowed Guy to reach third base, and Durazo did not advance beyond first. Now runners were at the corners, but 2 were out, and the A's needed something from Eric Burns.
Here's the 1-0 to Burns. Swung on, hammered to center, base hit. Guy can walk home. Durazo goes to second. Burns at first with a sizzling shot. Cabrera, the pitcher, who's 6'7", ducking to get out of the way of that ball. And the A's take a 5-4 lead.
Cabrera stayed in facing Melhuse, but he walked him, and that was the end of the line for the young right-hander, with the A's having the bases loaded. Bobby Crosby coming up, and Dave Borkowski freshly moved from the bullpen, or to the bullpen from the rotation, got Crosby looking at a third strike. Crosby had a little bit of a flurry with the umpire, but stayed in the ball game okay. The end result was the A's had the 5-4 lead, and Borkowski was now the pitcher for the Orioles. Then Zito came back out in the fourth inning, got much more aggressive, had a 1-2-3 fourth, and in the bottom half of the fourth, Chavez was up with 2 out.
And the pitch. Chavez swings and drives one to deep right center field. Way back, and that is gone. The A's second home run today. And the Athletics have taken a 6-4 lead.
And Zito continued to be effective as he retired the side in order in the fifth. And by the time that the sixth inning rolled around, Tejada was leading off. He had retired 7 straight and should have had an 8th in a row. Tejada's high pop-up behind second base got in the sun, and none of the A's could corral it. But when Tejada tried to take second base after the ball fell in short center field, Crosby recovered quickly to pick it up and fire to Chavez covering at second, so Tejada was the first out of the inning. But when Lopez walked, that made 117 pitches for Zito, and that's the point where the A's bullpen came into play. Rincon got the call and took care of business, getting Surhoff before Leon beat out a hard infield hit to third. He struck out Gibbons, though, to end the inning and kept the A's in control 6-4. But you always want to have more if you can get them. And in the A's half of the sixth inning, that's exactly what happened, and partly because the Orioles are making a bit of a patchwork out of their lineup because of some injuries. David Newhan, more an infielder than an outfielder, was playing in left field, and Melhu's deep fly ball was misjudged by Newhan and went for a double to start the inning. Then Crosby had a terrific at-bat, 12 pitches before he drew a base on balls to put runners at first and second. However, Borkowski bore down. He got Kotze. He got McLemore. And suddenly it looked like the A's might not get anything out of this. And with Chavez waiting to bat, John Parrish, the left-hander, came in from the bullpen. He fell behind Chavez 3-1, and they ordered ball 4 intentional to load the bases. That was with Scott Hatteberg coming up. Just a note, Hatteberg 6 for 10 this year with the bases loaded, including a grand slam. Swung on. There's a drive in the left center field, and that's going to be in past the diving range, and it rolls to the wall. 2 runs in. Here comes the third run in, and it's a 3-run double for Scott Hatteberg, and the A's open it up 9-4. And the Orioles made a slight rumble in the 7th inning against Rincon. Grain singled to center field, and after Roberts struck out, Newhan popped up, and it fell, about 15 feet in front of the plate because it got lost in the sun momentarily by Melhuse, and with both Rincon and Chavez coming down in the area, it fell among the 3, so that gift base hit gave the Orioles a little hope, and eventually the call came to the bullpen for Chad Bradford to face Mora, the dangerous right-handed batter, and Bradford's pretty good at getting those one-pitch results.
And the pitch, Bradford deals. It swung up, bounced to short, might be 2. Crosby flips second 1. Relay first, double play, and that'll get the job done. Bradford throws 1 pitch, induces Mora to bounce into a 6-4-3 double play. And that's it for Baltimore in the top of the 7th. And we go to the bottom half. A's 9, Orioles 4.
Well, fast forward now to the 9th inning. The Athletics still leading by a 9-4 count. Chris Hammond comes in after the inning in 2/3 by Bradford. 2 fly balls to center field quickly, and now it's finally Brian Roberts, the last hope of the Orioles. And a swing and a drive towards center. Kotze coming in. He has it. And the A's have swept the Orioles 4 straight here at the Coliseum. They have also won the season series 7-0. A 3-out 9th inning, 1-2-3 for Hammond, and the Athletics chalk up the win. They now have a 1-game lead over the Idle Angels. The final score today, the A's 9 and the Orioles 4. And ponder the Orioles' plight. You have a 10-game losing streak, and you're headed to spend 3 days in Arlington, Texas.